Hello there. I have a
Hi,
picture. Hi, I can also hear you. Welcome.
finally. Glad to be here.
Right. We finished a little bit early, but now it's your turn. Go ahead.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. The people with me today is Rupprecht Rittweger from Investa Holding GmbH, and we have Alex Rinke from Celonis with me today, where we want to introduce you to the AI Park, the initiative we are starting and launching, and we want to introduce to you today. First of all, I want to thank you, Veronica, Fabian, and the team for this remarkable event. I mean, looking back, when we are full speed ahead at the beginning of the year to launch the AI event, but also launch the AI Park in the first half of this year as the pandemic hit, and we kind of stopped everything within days. But I truly have to say here that I've never seen so much passion, courage, but also resilience from Veronica and Fabian and the team in order to make this event happening this year. And this is remarkable. So thank you very much. And hopefully we can also contribute with our speech and with our doing to this event. We've seen a lot of great speeches from our friends, from like-minded people, from AI experts. And I think there's truly clear that there is no question that in Germany, in Europe, there are enough talents. We do have scale-ups, and we have money in order to kind of really muscle through and start a new era. As Fabian mentioned in his opening speech yesterday about renaissance of AI, or the AI as a hype, which I clearly see as just do it. I mean, there is out there so many now possibilities that we need to grab that. I mean, companies and whole industries are poised for transformation in the near future. Many corporates believe that AI is the key for them to better become or stay the market leader in their area. Reflecting on the speech from Hans Uskereit yesterday about enterprise AI, I truly acknowledge and I can clearly see that in the last couple of years, the most benefits enterprises and corporates are seeing are in process efficiency when applying AI, which is, I think, normal in such a heavy process-oriented industry as in Germany we are seeing in terms of engineering, automotive, and the like. So it is clearly that there is the most impact right now and most benefit. But there are new signals coming, especially in the light of new growth, new business models, better decision making. I mean, this whole shortened disruptive life cycle that we are seeing, even accelerated by global innovation hubs, by front runners and wave makers, are even increasing the speed of change. Which is good. And I think also clear is that 80% of companies will buy AI solutions. They will work with startups and scale-ups together in the near future in order to make the difference, creating an impact and using AI in their space so that they can really drive change and make sure that they are ahead of the curve and really fast and speedful in that event. So how can we support this? And what does corporates need in order to kind of flourish and drive through? What are startups requirements in order to kind of go up, stand there and execute? What does AI need to be successful in Germany? We need a thriving ecosystem for collaboration. We need founders, we need researchers, NGOs, political actors, companies, and leaders to really collaboratively work and exchange their ideas in one spot, in one community, in one ecosystem. And those people with the relevant skills into this ecosystem to build this holistic AI value chain, they should really help to drive the ideation of ideas all the way through execution and then to downsetting those events. For those who are a bit younger, but was very famous for the brand made in Germany. And I think we should consider those strengths we are having. We are a land of engineers, we are a land of founders, and we should make sure that we are using that trend. Germany has all the potential necessary. However, we need to make sure that we overcome our own company's competitive thinking. We rather should go into collaborative mode. We should go from IP protection, proprietary systems into intellectual partnership, where we really drive jointly together the change and apply AI in an enterprise scale. We do not want to research. We want to really start applying AI. We want to create tangible values for Germany and for Europe. And especially, we want to help businesses to really grow and find their place in this really disruptive and changing world. Not to forget that this is also something which is for the society and for humans. So we need to stand up for our values. And as Professor Gabriel mentioned yesterday in his panel discussion about ethics and algorithms, value do not differ by nations. It's all the same. I think values differ by bad people and bad governments. So we as Europeans and we as our community, we need to stand up for our values. We need to make sure that whatever we do in this ecosystem and going forward is absolutely transparent. And there is a lot of integrity in space, especially the respect for human rights and data rights. And these guiding principles in all is what we want to create going forward. That is exactly the reason why we created the AI Park. We want to give purpose, we want to make it tangible, and we want to increase speed. Our first building blocks, each represented by my dear partners, which are also speaking today, will focus on the connection, on the application, and the education of AI in Germany, in our ecosystem. So Rupprecht, how do we build and connect our AI Park ecosystem?
Thanks, Ollie. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Rupprecht Rittweger, and I represent two companies. One is Investa, a real estate developer, and the other one is NTT, which is one of the largest telecoms companies in the world, the second largest Japanese company, where I'm chairman of the data center division in EMEA. So what I do is I develop real estate, data centers, and other sorts of real estate. And you may ask yourself, why are several partners speaking for the initiative AI Park? As we all know, it takes several different bits and pieces to put AI applications in real use. So what does it take to develop AI? In my view, it takes, technology infrastructure, compute, storage, connectivity, data centers, cloud players, physical spaces, office space, co-working areas, recreational areas. It takes talent, well-educated talent, capital, especially in the early stages, applications. AI can only be understood and evaluated when applied in concrete use cases. The potential for application of AI, however, needs to be better understood, and it needs to be more transparent to startups in Germany. Data, no AI. We need rules, especially in the EU. AI should not violate our values, such as the right of informational self-determination, especially, being aware of the purpose that your personal data is being processed. So my angle on AI, large-scale infrastructure. So what do I bring to the table? A platform for people to connect in the real world and develop AI and access to multiple cloud providers, a large variety of internet exchanges and telecommunication network providers, privileged access to compute and storage. So where do we do this? So the facts. We do this in Berlin at the Marienpark, which is a very large industrial site in the south of Berlin, roughly 360,000 square meters, approximately the size of 50 football fields. And we dedicate a large portion of that for for development of AIs as a flexible and secure workspaces for startups and infrastructure. Makerspaces for infrastructure-savvy AI development, such as tracks for autonomous driving, labs with enough room to experiment and to combine asset-savvy production with software, something we think is currently really missing in Germany, and several cloud data centers with space of almost 60,000 square meters in the first phase. The data center site at the Marine Park will be, Europe's largest data center, and we're developing this as NTT over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. If we were a fashion label, our offering would be called the Essentials. So we provide the essentials for our AI operated in Germany. Thanks. Back to you, Ollie.
Thank you, Rupprecht. Really impressive. And there are also a lot of questions already in the audience, which we are really trying to address in the next couple of minutes and slides, whether by myself and also some hints to go into the direction of Alex, but also obviously then later in the Q&A section. Apply. So we really want to make sure that we do no kind of experiences. We want to really focus on applicable AI under market economic conditions. Together with our partner Agorize, we've launched an open data innovation platform on our website, which is seamless, digital, and a complete self-service. What is in for corporates on that site, on that platform? You get instant access to more than 5 million registered users in the space of software development, AI, UX, UI, and so forth. You also have 12,000 startups, 700 AI startups in Germany, and we are still counting, at your fingertip, hoping and willing, together with you, solve your biggest challenges jointly with humans, with your businesses, and with the technology. What is in for startups? I mean, you get access to our expert network. You get a direct place on the field in terms of solving some of the real world challenges with your ideas. Plus, you create an eminence. This is a central point of ideas where you get all of the like-minded frontrunners and wave makers together, whether in the real world, but also in the virtual world, to really start working on applicable AI. If you go to the exhibit section, we are still offering for corporates and startups some free vouchers together with our user-centric starter lab. Frame your challenge and guide you through the first kind of steps in your journey to make AI enterprise ready. In this case, I also mentioned that at the beginning of the speech, it's also about transparency. So we also launched on our website an AI map where you see, based on state in Germany, where the startups been placed, who they are, how they look like, what they're doing, in which field they are working in, so that you also get a kind of a sense of where we are and what we are doing in Germany. But it's not just about AI solutions and products. It's also about our future AI leaders. Alex, can you help and explain the audience what we are doing in the AI Park to find the new AI leaders?
Yes, thank you, Ollie. And also, first of all, let me say that it is an honor to be here and launching the KI Park Deutschland. I represent Celonis today, a company that I started around 10 years ago, and that is one of the leading AI companies in Germany, but also all around the world, one of the leading emerging AI companies. And, one experience, and if I may just briefly say this, on the connect and apply part is, was very personal. When I met Oliver here, he was a decision maker at Siemens, and he made it possible to apply our AI solution. We were very early stage in the company with one of the largest industrials, and it helped us to scale Celonis, and it helped us to create the foundation for a much bigger company. And I think this is why the connect and apply part is so important. When I was asked whether I would join this initiative, and I was honored to be a part of it, I thought about, how can we contribute in the best possible way? And what is interesting, what I learned about AI, and what I also learned about Europe from building Celonis across Europe and the US, is that the key part of AI is the talent. It's the human capital that is able to build these AI solutions and to apply these AI solutions. And the thing that I learned about Europe is that the biggest advantage of Europe is our people and our amazing education systems and our 500 million Europeans that can leverage AI solutions, that can build in an ecosystem of new AI solutions and really prepare Europe as a competitive player in the future. And this is why we focus as Celonis with our contribution here on AI education, which covers a diverse set of skills. First of all, it's the technical skills, the programming, the data science, the engineering skills that are so important to the AI economy. The second piece are the digital skills, like online communication, like being able to collaborate in a remote team. And then the third, which is very, very important, and I learned this as an entrepreneur, the business competence. Like, how can we apply artificial intelligence to real business problems? How can we solve real problems with artificial intelligence? How can we think like entrepreneurs and start our own companies? And I think there's one more thing that also makes Europe special, is that a skill set that is needed in addition to this is digital ethics. Because as we create the next generation of AI leaders, we need to make sure that we apply AI in an ethical way, because we want to be proud of the society and the future that we create for our children. So this is why the KI Park will have an integrated education approach involving industry and academia. And we are an industry partner. And at the same time, our academic alliance program that we are bringing to the to the KI Park covers a network of over 400 leading universities, research institutions, and other partners, with the goal of educating you and everyone who's interested on a responsible AI. And we decided to open our academic alliance and all of our training programs that we use to everyone in Germany through the KI Park. And we're very proud of this commitment and are sure that this will help facilitate the education of the next generation of responsible AI leaders. So we are very excited to be a part of it. I'm very excited to be a part of it and honored, and very much looking forward to building a strong European platform for artificial intelligence. With that, giving it back to you, Oli.
Thank you, Alex. Really inspiring talk, and I always fascinated when thinking about the fact that I think 9 years ago, standing in a Currywurstbude across St. Martinstrasse, talking about the future, and now you are one of the most successful AI-driven scale-ups out of Germany and Europe, and I think there's much more to come. So I'm super excited and thankful that you are here and helping us. So this is actually a call for action for leaders, as we are here today to join this ecosystem, to start the exchange with us, to bring values, some kind of expertise and additional expertise to the table, to really build a value chain which is driving this initiative and helping our businesses and our industry to become and stay as this great industrial nation as we are today already. But this is also a call for action for businesses and for startups. Join us, speak to us, use the access to us in order to make sure that we are jointly working on the future. You're here at the moment, we are 3 partners, 3 leaders, which is Rupprecht Rittweger with Investa and NTT, obviously bringing a lot of space and compute power to the table. You have Celonis as a role model for startups in the AI field, from making it from the idea to one of the most dominant companies in that space in the world. And you have Deloitte as of today, which is bringing our professional and global network, including our industry insights, into these initiatives. As we speak, we are in good and really fruitful discussions with other leaders around venture capital, around data, around sustainability, which also want to contribute. But please talk to us, contact us. We are really happy to talk to you and make this change happen, respectively make AI applicable in an industrial and enterprise scale. Thank you so much. At least we are on time. And looking at
you're very much on time. We don't have questions from the audience yet, and I at least was thinking that you would take half an hour. So you would have 9 more minutes if you want to discuss some further things.
Supposedly, most of the questions have been answered so far. But
right.
I guess
I do have a question, because you were all very optimistic, right? And this is, I'm also the optimistic kind of guy, but I still want to know from everyone, what is the hardest part of what you were talking about? What is the hardest maybe to, you were telling people to think creatively and then be like a real doer, right? But even people who are very practical and who really want to walk the mile, there are still challenges. So what, from your perspective, are maybe the greatest challenges in what you told us?
May if I start and then please others join. What I'm seeing is the most challenging piece is what I mentioned at the beginning of the speech, that a lot of people and companies are still having this kind of own competitive thinking, which is a proprietary and really closed type of working. And to open that up, to build ecosystem, to work collaboratively and jointly as a partner is really one of the biggest hurdles, but it's mainly a mindset shift. And you only, I think, can create that mindset shift to become leaders into a kind of a group of people together into this ecosystem to build trust. And once you build trust and you also build track record, that then obviously this mindset will change. So it's not so much a topic of cultural or technology, it's more mindset shift, what I'm seeing, which makes it most challenging from my perspective.
Right. If you allow me a follow-up question, the idea of being open and of collaboration, things like open innovation, has been around for some time, right? And some people have adopted it very successfully, and some people haven't, right? For different reasons that you and I might not share or understand. So what makes you think that this time around these people might change their attitude or their mindset? Or will it be a necessity because business simply won't be going great for anyone who has a rather closed mindset? What do you think?
So I can maybe chime in here as well. I mean, I think that it takes courage. It takes courage. It takes courage to be in a company and take the risk and invite a startup to come in and do a new AI project. It takes courage to rethink how you're doing things today and apply AI to it and change things. It takes courage to start a new company and introduce a new solution to the market, because that's typically not the safest path. And I think that there's already a lot of AI in Europe and in Germany, and there's already a lot of people that have the courage. But I think what we can do a better job at, and this is why I'm personally so excited about KI Park, is that we can inspire a larger and larger group of people to first of all have this courage and jump in. And everybody can jump in. It doesn't matter whether you work at a business, whether you have your startup idea, whether you are in academia. There's so many different ways to jump in. Whether you're in real estate, in data center, you can jump in. And I think that that's why we are here today. That's what one of the principles of KI Park is. But then it's more than just inspiring people. it's also then helping and giving the tools, providing the networks, providing the application, providing the platform to make it happen. And I think this is not a, this time around, last time around kind of thing. This is something we all have to grow together. And by the way, I think this conference is also part of it,
Right. I think that many execs would probably say, of course I am courageous already. Still, I don't want to go there. What would you answer them?
I said, think again.
It's exactly. That's one thing, and maybe I can take this as well. Look, and I think also a couple of people said that. That's fine. We don't want to convince people to change or to say I'm already best in class. Then that's okay, because what we are doing is true, is honest. And we want to be a role model. We want to try forward. We take the courage also in some areas maybe to fail, but we are, as a team, as a partnership, we will really try to make this happen. And as Alex mentioned, I think we also want to inspire. That's why we're bringing leaders to the table to help us really make this thing real.
And I think what you got to do is you got to be bold. You got to, try really. To also, from a real estate perspective, to invest speculatively. That's also going to be very, very important. Not to wait for tenants to come in, but you build it and then they will come. Mm-hmm. That's also a bit of a different attitude that you usually see in Germany. It's a little bit more hesitant, more on the safe side. So we're trying to be more entrepreneurial. Mm-hmm. And I think, we've all proven that this can work also in Germany, and that's what we're trying to put here. And then together with Deloitte and Celonis, I think it's a very strong team that can lay the foundations and can invite others to come in and join. And that's the attitude of the KI Park. Right.
I get the feeling, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the mindset or the mentality that you're looking for, sometimes it's called the entrepreneurial mindset, but it's rather something for people who found their own startup than for people who are interested in a corporate career or might have been pursuing a corporate career for a couple of years already. Do you see that as well, and is that a problem?
Rupprecht.
No, I think it's open for everybody, and I think there are a lot of entrepreneurial people in the corporate world, and we do want to encourage also the corporate world to come join in the KI Park. We're talking to very large German corporates to come in and join, but to join in an entrepreneurial idea and to be part of it. And it's very important. We don't want only startups. We want entrepreneurs. We want startups, we want the German Mittelstand, we want large German corporates, and we want the German government as well. So we want everybody to participate in our platform.
And right. I completely agree. And by the way, you mentioned careers. I mean, we have worked with so many corporates over the last years, and there's been amazing corporate entrepreneurship, people that change the status quo, that implement new solutions. And honestly, it's the best way to make a career. The best way to make a career in a corporate, and in a way, Oli is also an example of this. Sorry, point you out like that, Oli, but is to embrace new things and embrace AI, because this is where the future is going, and I think it would be hard to debate that. So, it's the right time to jump into the pool.
Right. How do you see the work that is cut out for you during the next couple of years to make all the things that you talked about a reality?
We're going to spend some money and be happy about it and take speculative risk. Mm-hmm. So NTT is betting big time on Germany. They're betting big time on Berlin. And we're going to spend more than 480 million euros on building a currently speculative data center. And Investa is going to spend, double-digit millions in order to build speculatively co-working facilities and develop the marine park. So you got to be bold. And in the past, in Germany, people were bold as well, but we got to do a little more these days in order to compete with the other regions of the world where people are very entrepreneurial as well. Especially if you think about California, Silicon Valley, China, Korea. where, and we also want the government to take a bigger and smarter role in KI Park. And I think the government did understand that it's very important also to have some government spending together with startups and government spending in order to enhance, the infrastructure of our country. The IT infrastructure of our country is so utterly important. And that's why, we're trying to provide, AI hosted in Germany. That's what NTT and Investa are trying to do. And we're trying to bring the right pieces together.
Right. You're betting on Germany, and we are betting on you guys and your work. So thank you very much for the very interesting panel, and have a lot of success in your work. Thank you.